Okay, welcome back to PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I told you guys we're changing the format just a little bit. So we're going to kick off this PR Yourself episode with my girls, Chandra, Gore, Quiana McDaniel, with your hot PR news of the week. It is the situation that everybody is talking right now, everything. Sha'Carri Richardson testing positive for marijuana in her system as she was slated to head to the Tokyo Olympics. And, you know, I have a special place in my heart for Sha'Carri because she is from the Dallas area. So just whooping it up for my girl. But we're not here to be biased. We're here to give an unbiased opinion on her situation, whether it's PRable or not. So bringing in my resident PR experts, Chandra Gore of Chandra Gore Consulting. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
And for you guys that are listening, and you're not able to watch this on YouTube, she is wearing a shirt that says "Weed is vegan." So, and then we have Quiana McDaniel of the House of Deshay.
Hey, everybody.
She's looking extra flawless. You know, she's showing a couple of bra straps right now. I told her I was going to call her husband. That's a PRable situation. I'm not going to say his government name on the podcast. But Chandra and I decided, you know what? We're going to start off this session just lighting some things up. You know, so we're going to get a little smoke going in honor of Sha'Carri. I've got me a little sage. You see it smoking? Get it smoking.
Sage.
Yeah, my sage is off the chain. Yes. Quiana, you lighting anything up? Quiana, are you lighting anything up?
You already know I'm foreign. I'm a rookie.
This is sage,
nope,
girl. It's not the real thing. Okay. So let's talk about it. For all you guys tuning in, we got some smoke going, you know, because now Sha'Carri, she's saying you don't want that smoke, but we got some smoke going. I'm still lighting my sage because it smells so good, and we're gonna get rid of bad energy. But as you guys know, she was aiming to become the first American woman to win the Olympic 100-meter title since Gail Devers in 1996, after she posted 10.72 seconds in April, one of her 5 runs under 11 seconds this season. She was the poster child. She was the favorite going into the Tokyo Olympics in track and field for women. Some people comparing her to FloJo due to her wigs, her colorful wigs, her nails, everything but her talent. We're not even going to go there. And now she has tested positive for having marijuana in her system. And I believe, Chandra, wasn't it? When did she take the test? It was actually when was the test taken?
Let's see now. Okay, Friday morning.
So it's taken Friday morning, and I believe there's like a 30-day suspension that goes along with that. So right now, the report I have is from this morning. I think another report has come out since then, but they were saying they're trying to track the ban to see that she actually may get the suspension lifted and still be able to go. However, she has released statements saying, you know, if I don't, I'm still 21 years old and I can just try again. Mm-hmm. But that's not what we're here for today. There's a huge argument on the internet about whether or not is it some sort of disgrace to her character as an athlete that she smoked the marijuana and you had it in your system knowing that you were going to the Olympics, or, hey, it's just weed. So representing Sha'Carri will be Chandra Gore. Quiana, you're going to represent the Tokyo Olympics. And I'm going to be moderator. So, Chandra, kick off this discussion and let me know, as a PR expert, like, what are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts are she actually led with the reasons why her mother passed away, and not saying that she should have to quantify her the reasons why she did what she did by putting her trauma on display to just like everyone copes differently. And so she actually won this. She ran this race knowing her mom had just passed away. Anyone who is on the face of the earth understands that they're supposed that marijuana is supposed to make you slow. She was the fastest woman. So therefore, I like there's no reason. Michael Phelps swam all them laps, okay? Higher than a giraffe, okay? And we didn't have, he didn't. He had a boyish. What did they say? Was it a boyish decision or something like that? This young lady was under so much pressure. This goes to show that the rules are antiquated. Marijuana has been made legal. The health benefits have been stated. There's no reason why this should be that big of a deal when all of these other things are a factor. So I'm glad that we went out and talked about it, and she showed her human side and showed that black women, in spite of everything, still have to show, well, my hair got cut off last week. This is why I got stitches on my neck. Like, it's always a problem. We always got to justify everything when it shouldn't be a problem. But go ahead. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Q.
My my position and my stance. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
My position and my stance is that there's a standard that's being set, right? Everybody should have to follow the same rule accord. If there was anybody in history who failed the test and wasn't suspended for whatever reason, and there was an argument to go off of, then yeah, we can argue that. But she knew the rules. She knew the requirements. She knew that the Olympics is like the pinnacle of all sports. And there's a lot of responsibility on her to abide by that. Like, no offense, but I don't feel sorry for her because I feel like she knows we're on the level of the Olympics. She knows. On the level of the Olympics, these standards were set in place. It was well known, and again, it's not like there's history where they haven't been just as strong on other participants in the past. It's unfortunate that her mom passed away. It's unfortunate that this was her outlet to kind of get through that. But again, rules are rules and standards are standards. And she kind of knew it before there was. I mean, to me, she got tested knowing she was going to come back dirty. That's just.
It's kind of funny, Chandra, because as we're talking, I can see the smoke on your screen. So it's like it is what it is. It's kind of funny because when this first came out, I had the same opinion as Quiana, and I'm an athlete, so I'm not saying that I didn't do things under the influence. I was not perfect, and to Chandra's point, I actually hit a triple double. So all athletes do it, but I also wasn't on the level of the Olympics where the rules, the regulations, you just know. And she actually admitted to, yeah, I knew it and I chose to do it anyways. So Chandra, like, what's your response?
Listen, these rules need to be reevaluated. They actually disqualified 3 other women, black women, for testing. They had naturally high testosterone levels. They got disqualified. Okay. Then they banned on the swim team. They banned the shower caps. Okay, listen. I'm not saying that they should break the rules or anything like that. But if you look at the health benefits of cannabis, okay, and all of those things, mental health is not looked at the same way across the board, across the world. I get that. But there are some things that need to be reevaluated and taken into account with this stance on marijuana and these sports, okay? Like, I do feel that, all these tests that you're doing, I get it, they're in place, but they're antiquated. We need to reevaluate into and walk into this 2021. We need to redo things. Like, even from Naomi with the issue with her mental health, to find someone for saying, listen, I'm not well. This young lady needed to cope, okay? And if that's what makes her cope, that helps her cope to get through it, to get to the other side, that should be all taken in consideration. It wasn't like it was a performance enhancer. Like, we don't make it run faster. I don't think. I mean, I didn't see that. Last time I checked, you feel good and you relax and your nerves is right. So obviously, my stance will always be the same. Check these antiquated rules. I feel like she was honest by saying it. She said her piece. She had to go over the reasons why she used it to cope, which no one asked Michael Phelps, why you smoke the weed, sir?
Actually, they did.
And what was
They
his response?
He was suffering from depression. He said the same thing, but he still was. He said it. He said that he was using it to help him through depression. The point is there has to be a standard, right? There has to be a line in the sand to be drawn, and when you cross the line, there's penalties that come with that. There's no gray area in this arena. It's purely black and white. You either pass or fail. Unfortunately, she failed.
Okay,
unfortunately. Y'all know how much it kills me when I agree with Quiana. You don't understand how it makes my insides just like I gotta sage myself, because it's like I didn't think we didn't talk about it. I told her, before we get on these, I always tell you guys, I said, don't tell me your position, because I want y'all to come fresh with your own frame of thinking. But again, I understand both sides of the argument. I understand that. Hey,
no, I understand too. I'm clear in understanding.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I understand both sides of the argument, but to the point that, yes, okay, if we need to reevaluate the rules, we need to reevaluate the rules, but those rules are not set in place at this current moment. And so to throw from a PR standpoint, let's just look at it through that lens, Chandra. You're her publicist.
Right.
From a PR standpoint, to change the world's perception of you based off of something you said, I knew I wasn't supposed to do it, and I did it anyways, regardless of what the circumstance was. Regardless of what the circumstance was, and to say, I'm 21. I could get back there again, or I have hopes that I could get back there again. To Quiana's point, you reached the pinnacle. It don't get no higher than Olympics, and you threw it away to smoke. Like, maybe we should be taking a deeper issue at athletes and mental health and other coping mechanisms, because now what's her publicist going to do to refashion her image?
Yeah. I mean, you had the pinnacle opportunity, and to have all these requirements in front of you, and to know what your requirements are, and to be like, well, I'm just, trust me, I've had bad days. Leah, no, right? I'm just having a bad day today. I'm going to go ahead and smoke it out because my mother done passed away. Trust me, I know. I've wanted to have several drinks of vodka since February 20th. And I've had to tell myself, no, it's not going to be that type of day. So trust me, I can feel her point of view. But if I have the pinnacle opportunity in front of me, no, ma'am.
As an athlete.
I get it. I understand that. But you know what? I would spin it like, for me, she knows she bad. She knows she that girl. She knows she that. And that cockiness is why you love her, because she's authentic. And yes, she did say, I'm 21. I can do it again. She sure can. And I would spin it from that point, because you know what? She should not shrink herself from being herself. And I will, as a publicist, and I get it, everybody's like, that's not a great approach. Let me tell you something. People love someone who's authentic. I mean, just a couple years ago, we had a crazy person up there at the highest office doing the most with the cockiness, okay? Mm-hmm. So therefore, I'm not going to take away from her being herself. When she said, I'm 21, she could do it again. Yes, she can. She said that she knew, she did smoke the weeds. She did partake of the devil's lettuce because she was coping with her mother's death, but she knew the rules. She did that. But it's either do the thing and not be able to cope and not be able to run, or do what you need to do to cope and then run and then ask for forgiveness later. So this is what I'm saying. She did what she had to do at the time. She's 21. And I'm not, her age is what it is. But She did what she needed to do to get to make that, to break that record. So, right or wrong, the young lady
Where has it gotten her though? She did what she needed to do, but she didn't follow the rules. So now
Okay,
she's
she still
stuck.
get to run the relays after 30 days though. She may not be able to run in that race, but she still can participate in the relay. So she may not be fully 100% there, but she still gets to compete in the relays.
But she still, even at that, it's like you just knocked out a
The
medal
Olympics.
opportunity.
I
Like,
get it.
so
Okay,
you could have,
she gonna come back better.
yeah, you could have gotten a medal here and a medal there. So you just knocked out your chances here.
But
I get it.
and she took
It's
the L
like
with grace.
it's like working all day and finding out you're not gonna get paid. Well, you're gonna be mad in a month. Like you done did your job all day. You made one mistake and you're not gonna get paid for it, but you made that mistake.
I think if I were her publicist, we would be doing some sort of brainstorming on, okay, to Chandra's point, let's just say you still do the relays, you get knocked out of the other race, right? You still get to do the relays. However, for every Olympic going forward, they're going to be looking at you
Correct.
under this scope. Like, is
Yeah.
she, or even, it don't even have to be the Olympics, just in your regular life, who's she smoking up with, that, you know, this, marijuana, that. They're going to be looking at you. So I'm thinking of what can we plug you into to discuss issues with mental health and athletes.
Exactly.
How can we have you talking to kids? First of all, you've got to find other coping mechanisms and then communicate that and broadcast that out. Like maybe she's working with NAMI. Maybe she does work with these other organizations, talk to kids, and that can kind of beef up that persona.
Nike
because they're gonna be looking at her from here on out as a weed head.
And guess what? Nike said, we appreciate Sha'Carri's honesty and accountability, and we will continue to support her through this time. Richardson has been a Nike athlete since 2019 and remains so after the positive marijuana test and 1 month suspension. People respect the honor. If she would have said, no, I didn't smoke no weed, we would have a problem with spinning, the spin cycle. But yes, she needs to do something to help others that have been through that have gone through what she's gone through, to cope with better, to find better methods of coping, especially if you are participating in a sport. But like I said, sponsors are not leaving her.
But I don't think that's the argument.
That's not the argument. Is her being able to play in the Olympics, and they're not going to allow her to do that because that opens the door for anyone in the future to fail a test. I'm sorry, for anyone in the future to fail a test and come back and say, well, Sha'Carri failed and y'all let her play. It's a standard. It's a line that cannot be crossed.
Correct.
She can have as many as endorsements. She can run as many relays, but she won't run in the Olympics. That's the pinnacle. It's like doing exercises and not losing weight and not getting the result of the Olympics, the reward of the Olympics. She's blown it.
I think that it's okay, but I don't think the argument is really with the sponsors, because I tend to agree with them. Like, if you think about it, marijuana is legal in so many different states. It's from the earth, it's the ground. You know what I mean? We all, all of us do it, or some of us here don't. But it's just kind of like, weed is vegan. It's totally vegan. It's so good for you.
Yes, it's gluten-free.
I keep hearing that.
But to that point, it's like, okay, I'm not really talking about the sponsors. I'm talking about her as a career professional and the people that have the ability to dictate like how high she goes. And unfortunately, we all have that, right? And so they're going to be looking at her under a microscope, whether Nike supports her or not. If she tries to go to the Olympic trials again, it's like they waiting like, okay.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and this is something that we would have to, as a publicist, we would have to address moving forward. We understand that we will forever have that scrutiny. We will forever have the extra testing. We will forever have that, and we will encounter that. We will cross that bridge when we get to it, and we understand that her decision today will affect the future and how she's tested. That's a given, and like, she's human, and she made that choice. She made a choice that was best for her, and now these are the repercussions of making that choice. And that's something that, as like she said, she's human. She's accepting that this is what's going to happen going forward, and so that's the point where accepting that and actually bringing it and saying that, like, listen, I already know I made this choice. And then she said she made, like, she understood what is, let me say, I don't want to misquote the young lady. And she said, give me 1 second, get her exact words. She knew what she was doing.
And she says, who am I to tell you how to cope when you're dealing with a pain or you're dealing with a struggle that you've never experienced before or that you never thought you'd have to deal with? Who am I to tell you how to cope? Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for hurting? And then she said, look, if I'm allowed to receive the blessing to compete in Tokyo, then I'm grateful for it. But if not, right now, I'm just going to focus on myself. And as a publicist, I'm like, okay, now we're creating a plan for if your ass don't get to go to Tokyo, then you're gonna be in these streets, not only training, but looping in with these organizations to, on a public front, learn how to cope and then teach others that are these kids that are looking up to you and refashioning your image with the Olympic Committee.
But on the flip side, on the flip side of that, this is a lesson for young Black women.
Yes, for sure.
This is a lesson that could be taught across the board to actually to actually showcase that we are not a monolith. We do go through things. We do have to find ways so that we're not looked at as strong all the time. We actually do have these issues. We need to be able, publicly, they need to, accept these and, work to understand it. So I feel like this is a lesson that, in a grand scheme of things, is going to be helpful in understanding, like, we are people too. We are human. And we're sometimes looked at as not human. We are sometimes looked at as not hurt. We don't hurt. We don't go through things, stuff like that. This is an opportunity for her to be that, another voice in the room saying, listen, Black women suffer from things too. We cope with things too. This is how you should talk to us. This is how you should deal with it. This is a teaching moment to teach other young Black women that they can go seek help as well. So from a Publicist standpoint, yes, we will be on with NAMI. We will be on with Calm. We will get with everybody that can help with understanding better coping mechanisms for the things that we go through.
And I do want to say that you have a very valid point, and I do want to point out, because I didn't really make it clear before, that I absolutely love Sha'Carri. I think that there was a lot of people in this world ready for her to fail just by virtue of her hair and her nails and things that aren't even, and it shouldn't have even been considered, in addition to her talent, her tattoos, all that other stuff. Leave that girl alone, just let her be herself. But I do agree with you. One of the reasons, I'm getting my certification for meditation. And I was very clear when I was getting it that if I am to teach, I'm teaching this for Black women. And my instructor, who is a non-woman of color, I made it clear. I said, because when we step out in that world, our issues are completely different. How we're treated, our mental mindset, we are a different type of human being, and the things that we struggle with, I feel like it's something that we have a shared experience. And so I can relate to that with her. Unfortunately, it's like, and she's young, so she's gonna have to learn this lesson. And I had to learn it during the pandemic. Do I eat the cake or do I choose the carrots? You know what I mean? Like, and it's not as bad. Well, actually it is bad a decision because I gained 25 pounds, but the situation is you have choices, and no matter what's weighing on you, unfortunately, that choice comes with consequences. Consequences. And when you're an athlete and the Olympics is the end all be all, yes, you have all these years behind you. My college roommate went and played in the Olympics and she got injured one year. She didn't even get to go. So you're counting on that you're not going to have an injury, that everything's going to be perfect, and God's going to grant you that chance again. You can't play with it like that. That's roulette.
Nope.
You can't play with it like that. Now you just knocked yourself out. So what happens if you don't get to go back? And part of my French, but you fucked it up because you wanted to hit a joint.
Yeah. Yep.
At least it wasn't nothing to.
I have my money on you. I'm gonna play Tyra. I was rooting for you. We were
harsher than the devil.
If she was just a college student, or if she was just trying to qualify to get into a relay, but we're talking about the Olympics.
Yeah, she's gonna be in Olympics, but she's not gonna be doing the women's 100. So I get it.
We had her slated for that 100 to win.
It's real sad.
To take it home.
It's real sad.
I was ready as a Dallasite to just. It's
real sad.
We have the parade. We ready.
And sometimes I think that that people are not. I don't think she understood the magnitude of the people
she knew
that she had behind her. But that's sad though. If she knew and still was like, "Hey, let me pop this joint," that's sad.
Because she had to call.
That's sad. That's sad.
But like I said, I don't think we as a community, because this is not just a Sha'Carri situation. This is our Black men as well. We have these conversations about our Black men where it's like, are there any other additional coping mechanisms besides and other people cope with alcohol and other substances. That's fine. But what else, Quiana says, me, and I'll be honest, I have CBD. I put a little bit of oil under my tongue. I had somebody do it the other day. It was like, oh, you came in here, energy was on. Look, open your mouth. Drop. Felt fine.
It's so funny because I was just telling my friend last night, I was talking to Dr. Kimberly. I was telling her that, like, when I'm having a really, really sad, stressful day, I can almost taste the vodka. Not that I drink. Leah knows that I don't necessarily drink because I feel like I'm going to be an alcoholic one day because I have family members or whatever who drink a lot. So Leah knows that we can be out and I'd be like, girl, I'm not gonna have no drink. But that bad or really going through the thick of the thick, my first thought is, baby, let me go find me some Absolute. Do I do it? No. Yeah. But that's my own fear. That's my own fear to be like, I ain't gonna be no alcoholic. I 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to, like, for real. But that don't mean I don't want to. I just had this conversation last night, like, oh, I wonder why I go there. Because as soon as I feel sad, I'm like, oh my God, I need me a shot of vodka to calm my nerves. But I never take
coping mechanisms.
But my coping mechanism right now is prayer. So when I do feel like that, I immediately say, God, no ma'am. No ma'am.
So this is why I always co-sign on everything. Like Charlemagne does this on his show as well, where it's like, we as a community, we've got to get stronger with our coping with mental health and identifying that there is a problem. I feel like we just reached the phase where we're actually able to be open and honest and talk about it, because as a Black community, that's something that, go to church, pray to Jesus about it. But I think as a community, we have to find additional ways to, I'm not saying you can't smoke weed. I am a pro marijuana person, but I feel like if that is something, I had a guy I dated, he did it. He said, I wake up, I bake up, I pray up. I said, but you don't want to pray first? I mean, at least switch it.
Yeah, you don't pray last.
I said, don't pray last. You wake up, I bake up, I pray up. I said, but God don't want you channeling the prayer through like a foggy weekend.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
That was so reversed.
Yeah, he was reversed. But the point of what I'm saying is that if to him, and I'll be honest, we did this trip to San Antonio. It was so funny. And he literally had, I said, what are those over there? And he says, oh, that's for our trip down there. So from Dallas to San Antonio, for anybody listening, it's about 6.5 hours. Hey. For Quiana, it would be like 4, maybe 3.
4, yeah.
The way she drives. So
foot salad.
So yes. For us granny drivers, it takes the normal 6 hours, whatever, to get down there. He literally had like 6 or 7 rolled up and said that was for the ride down there. For the ride. I said, where do you think we going?
Wow.
Wow. But if you're like that, if you're to that point, in my opinion, you've got some other deeper issues that you need. If you can't function in life without it, I feel like there's some other deeper things that we need to address.
I will say this, and because it's legal here now. And it was legal before, but that's my point. The thing is, you use, because when you're on a lot of medicines and you realize that marijuana has the components that can help you to cope better than taking a whole bunch of medicines that have your weight going up and down, and then your mood swings from the medicines, and then you try to get on another medicine to counteract the other effects of that medicine. Sometimes you got to weigh out the health benefits of marijuana and just choose the thing that grows from the earth, and that's all it is, salad.
I always say, and people laugh at me when I say this, I always say that I'm crazy just by myself, right? I don't need nothing to add, or I don't need nothing to add to it. Like anything that's going to make me not feel like myself or feel other than who I am or feel lighter or low, I can't. No.
Alcohol do that.
And I will say this, that I have never smoked weed.
I'm going to see you later on this month, okay?
Sending some sage Tiana's way. Like,
I just did.
Get that negative energy out of here. Get that negative energy. That negative talk.
Did you see the sage? Did you see the sage smoke just like slam up from there?
Get
never.
Get that negative talk out of here. That's negative talk. We don't do that here on this show.
I've never seen anybody. I can sit in a room and everybody do their little puff pass. They just pass it on past me.
Or not.
But I've never really had a desire to either. So, well, no.
One of the last things that I saw brought up before we kind of wrap, I think we have a clear set on the issues, and I'm kind of curious as to what the audience will think. But one of my friends brought up earlier in a text group that we're in is like, should we be even like evaluating her network? Do we think that it was people that she was around that encouraged her, like, hey sis, yeah, go ahead and take that. I'm gonna give you some pee and you'll be straight. And so now the question is, should there be an evaluation of her network? And there's a part of me that says, would we have that same criteria for someone that wasn't Black?
No, because did we ask about Michael Phelps people? Chad and them?
Chad. See, Zach. But they actually did.
No, they didn't. We didn't
actually did with Michael Phelps. They actually did, and he was very forthcoming about why he was smoking, what was the situation. But I believe that anytime you're growing and going to a place where none of your peers have been, you need someone to actually kind of guide you there as well. I'm not saying you drop all your friends. I'm not saying that at all. But you need somebody who knows what the top look like. Because if not, you're gonna get up there and don't know what to do. You're gonna get up there and drop a test, and your test gonna come back dirty because you don't know no better. Look, stop putting the smoke on the screen like y'all.
This is Palo Santo.
You gotta cleanse it first now.
He said, stop putting the smoke up on the screen.
Hey.
But
I feel like when I'm talking, it's like
you can feel it in your eyes. You can feel it in your system. It's good for your soul. Like, it's good for your soul. Shoot, I just need to smoke out this house anyways. Somebody was over here that ain't had no business being over here. But that's neither here nor there.
It's on the porch.
Bringing your energy up in my house.
You don't let them cross your threshold and stay on the porch, okay?
I tried.
And then you sweep the porch afterwards, okay? Don't be letting anybody in your space.
Yeah, well, ain't just anybody, but
I know.
They brought that energy up in here, so I'm glad we smoking it out. But anyways, so I mean that's where we're at. I guess we just have to keep our eyes on this particular case. Again, I want to make it very clear. I adore Sha'Carri. I think she is a gem. I do not want her to dim her life. Quiana has to go. Bye, Quiana. I'll talk to you later. I don't want her. Bye. I don't want her to dim her light. I just think that this is life. Like, do we all get to be 100% of ourselves in our profession and in our career? We have to scale some things back. As Black women, yes, sometimes we have to scale a lot back, and I'm not asking her to do that.
And that's my feelings about it. Like, she's authentically herself, and to me, I look at her like that's my little sister. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like, one, she's an athlete. She's not a public persona. She's an athlete. You know what I'm saying? You talk to her, she talking to you like, she's herself. So I'm not gonna ask her to ever change who she. I would never. I hope she stays the way that she is all the time. Like, I pray that she does not change her authentic self. But I think that we should use this as a way of understanding and learning, because I'm still on her side. Okay, my little sister made a mistake, she owned it, she was honest about it, we gonna make it right now, we gonna do better.
And from a PR perspective, so again, just thinking about her, how we would get her out of this situation, I'm curious to see what her PR team does. But there's also the component too, where it's like, what if she is the catalyst that actually gets the rules evaluated? So then she actually kind of becomes the hero in this situation. Yep. And pushed to the forefront. So if I were her publicist, I would be channeling for that, because then that kind of shifts her as the heroic figure, loop her in with those organizations. Now you got community support, and then come next Olympics, we've reshaped that image. They're still going to look at you under a microscope, but at least now, if you get the rules changed, or you've kind of transitioned some things for the better and modernized some things with the Olympics, it's actually better for her.
I'm just excited for what she's going to do, the change she's going to bring to the look how everything is looked at. You're absolutely right, and I'm here for it.
Well, we all here for it. Sha'Carri, we love you. But we're publicists. We had to break this thing down. We had to think it through. There's so many arguments out there right now. I love that she just freaking owned it. I'm just sad because it's one of those things where it's like, you knew the rules, but unfortunately, like I told a lot of people, I've never lost a parent. And if I just think how close I am with my mom, I don't know what I would do. I think in my mind, I would be like, fuck all y'all. Like, like I would be so just, I would probably tank my business.
I closed my business when my dad got sick, and when he passed away, I didn't cook no more. My whole life changed. My life was baking. So I can't even
imagine.
I can't imagine. I know how that pain, that's a pain that you can't quantify it, but your reaction is to close off, and everybody copes with everything different. Like, I literally last year just started baking again. Like, y'all did, and my dad passed away in 2013. So there's no way to say, oh, she shouldn't have coped like that. First of all, fuck y'all, mind y'all business. Until you all feel that pain, she could have went, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to live no more. So a little bit of weed, out, like, that pain is unimaginable. And if you don't, they can't prepare you to cope for a loss of a parent. No matter, you could get the top therapist in the world, it's not going to help. It's virtually impossible for them to teach you how to cope with that.
Yeah.
So before y'all start judging this young lady, like, y'all don't, until you lose someone that was your world, your parent, your everything, miss me with, oh, she should have coped better. Oh, okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't even really see it that way. I see it as, what can we do to provide better coping mechanisms to the community as a whole? Like what, and I had to do that for myself during the pandemic. Okay, Leah, instead of, turning to food, or instead of turning to, like, literally stuff was stressing me out so bad, I was taking my CBD oil like every single day. I said, okay, this is no way I can live my life. So I was like, I had to figure out what's triggering me, how is it making me feel, and what are better ways to deal with it. And so I think that's overall what we should be evaluating. I know some people are gonna be like, oh, well, it's just weed, and y'all are really taking it really deep. And it's like, no, this girl literally almost threw away everything she worked so hard for that, because there wasn't a way for her to cope. So we have to talk about it. But we're here for you, Sha'Carri. Dallas loves you. Chandra loves you too, but Dallas loves you more. And we need you to bring these medals home, sis, because the Triple D is ready to celebrate you, hun.
I'm excited for her.
I am too. I think she'll be fine. And shout out to Sha'Carri for all of her wigs and nails, because I'm waiting for those endorsements to come through too. So like, she's happy hair, get on it.
And the edge control, because I don't know what control would she use.
Said, what glue are you using? It ain't the Tessica Brown stuff.
It ain't.
But if Tessica was smart, she'd partner with Sha'Carri with this new hair stuff she just came out with.
Hello. I don't know what she had to make that wig stay down. You running that fast and your wig stayed on, girl. Share with us what is going on.
Like, I can't even keep my own hair secured, and it's secured to my head. So I needed that. Or my helmet of salvation. But anyways.
Hello.
All right, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. We had to hop on really quick because it was all we were seeing on the news feeds. If you guys have an opinion, definitely leave it in the comments. And if you're listening to this on the PR Yourself podcast, you guys know what to do. Subscribe, rate, review, share it out. So many of you reach out with your opinions on certain situations. So I know this is going to be one that is highly debatable. If you have that sage at home, if you have some Palo Santo, if you know that weed is vegan, if you like your CBD, go ahead and light it up for Sha'Carri one time. 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 It's time for the twerkulator. It's time for the twerkulator. You're going to run like your mama made you. Run like your mama made you. Anywho, all right, so we're going to be back. Chandra said we have more PR hot news and PR petties to talk about. So we're going to be delivering these to you more often than not. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in. Subscribe, rate, and review. We love you so much. And until next time.